Hey everybody, this is Rob Van Dam here, reaching out to all my damn fans out there. Hope everyone's doing great. I get asked for my advice on how I would handle a situation fairly often because I usually have a different perspective, a different view. I'm going to be sharing some of my ways, these principles that I follow, and we'll tear them apart one by one. I'm going to start with something that's important to me. It's the power of knowing what you don't know. People are uncomfortable to admit they don't know something. That is not my way. I'm not quick to rush to make a decision. I like to get all the information first, whenever possible. All right. No one's perfect. All these principles are things to work towards. So don't be hard on yourself. If you do happen to be inspired to add any of these to your life. It's something to work towards, and that's great. Rvdology is a way of looking to self improve and grow and be a better person. A better life comes with that. So, listen, when people don't know something, they automatically fill in all the blanks with stuff that they imagine, stuff that makes sense to them, and stuff that they want to believe. That's the way it works. I don't know if it started with religion, but I used to ask my dad, like, well, how do you know? How do you know that God had a son, Jesus? My dad would ultimately say, because it says so in the Bible. That was his answer. Kids at school, if it was about religion, I'd say, well, how do you know that, that Eve ate the apple, whatever? Kids that didn't have the right answers, they'd feel uncomfortable and they would just say, all I know is I believe in Jesus Christ, so I'm going to heaven. Do you really know that? Or you have yourself convinced you know that, but deep down inside you know that you don't really know that. You just told yourself to believe in it, so you got yourself convinced that you believe. I mean, that's faith, and it's good. I also call it hope, and I'm all about being hopeful, being optimistic. We make plans, do you know what you're doing tomorrow? But do you really know that? Do you know you're going to wake up tomorrow? Every second, 1.8 people die in this country. How do you know you're going to make it through the night? People die. Do I know that fact is true? 1.8 Americans? Well, I read it online. It has to be true, right? No, I don't know it's true. I just know I read it. I like to state facts like that. Like, according to what I've read, or, well, it looks like, blah, blah, blah. I don't like to assume because that is just filling in all the blanks with bullshit. That is not the way of RVD. My word is important to me, so when I say things, I want to have credibility. In my business, I can get 100% of money that I'm going to work for up front before I leave home and leave town because I have a great track record. I'm not going to screw anybody over. I'm not full of shit. If you lie all the time or you talk about things and end up being wrong and your credibility is shot and you stand behind and double down on stupid arguments where you just didn't have enough information, well, this is not the way of RVD. People know I'm going to send them deposits back if something happens, like I have to cancel the action figure from Faces and Heels because WWE's doing figures. Guess what? Boom, here's your money back. No problem. That's respect. That's integrity. It's important to me. So this is one of the things that I would like to share, all right? In my martial arts training, when I was really young, 1 month after I turned 19, I entered the Kalamazoo Tough Man contest, took runner-up. I took the second place heavyweight trophy home, The guy that had videotaped the 2-night tournament gave me his card, told me if I followed up, I could get a copy of the matches. Also, he was a trainer. This guy, James Williams, it might have been Williamson. I can't remember, and I've lost touch. I hope he's doing well. I learned so much from James. He was so different. I'm sure he inspired me to be unorthodox in my approach to wrestling, more so than I already had. I mean, like, he motivated me because everything he did was so crazy. I mean, he would have us like close our eyes and walk us somewhere, and then describe every, how many steps did we take? Did we feel anything along the wall? Like, he opened up our senses, trained my brain like a muscle to where it was so strong. I was aware of everything around me to a different kind of level, and I enjoyed that. So one time he tells me, put my hand up on the screen window of his door, and he says to me, "What can you tell me about the size of that screen?" This screen's about 2.5 feet across, I think, by, he said, "Is it?" "I don't know." "Well, what do you know about it? What can you tell me that you know about the size of that screen?" Okay, it's like a medium. I don't know, James. What are you looking for? And he said, "What is true that you know is true? Stick with that." And I didn't know. And he said, "It's bigger than your hand." This might seem cheesy, corny to you, but it was a lesson to me. It was bigger than my hand. Anything else I said would be guessing. It'd be bullshit. And so I try to stay away from that. Here's an example. If you think that you know what happened on the plane ride from hell and how it was from watching the Dark Side of the Ring episode, you probably don't. I mean, how could you? I was on the plane and I didn't know. I learned so much from watching that show, and I'm sure a lot of us did. I had no idea that 3 liquor carts were emptied before we took off. I don't even remember the 7 hours sitting there. It was so long ago. But so many people online had to voice their opinion. They would have done this. They would have done that. If you think that everybody was partying on this plane, if you think that there was a flight attendant that was needing help and that people saw this and ignored it, if you think that it was just like a big rock concert or something, no. You filled in a lot of the gaps in between, and they chose to tell one narrative. They had several to choose from. They'd say, "Well, we heard this, but also we heard this, and we heard this. Which way did it happen?" Oh, jeez. From what I can remember, they chose a way. They used the footage to support it. That's what happens. But I slept 95% of the trip. I was trying to sleep. I don't even think I had a beer. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't partying. Sometimes I would get up to get some water or to use the restroom. Sometimes everyone would be sleeping. Sometimes some people would be up and be in the back. Sometimes I'd see something peripherally, something. Rick looked like he was having fun one time. The flight attendant looked like she was having fun. He was just kind of like crowding up, like kind of, like, "Don't you want to put your hands inside this robe and touch my chest?" That kind of thing. You probably don't think that's what I said, but that's what I said. It was taken out of context. Anyway, for those of you that say, "Oh, I would have done something, about the flight attendant," why would you ever interrupt two people that look like they're having consensual fun? That would be a really weird thing to do. And also, if you would do that, I wonder Here's a question for you. Would you also tell the wrestlers' wives on all the wrestlers if you knew that they were like having fun with groupies, girl fans, cheating on their wives? Would you tell all their wives that? Because either way, first off, no, you wouldn't do anything. But if you think you would, you wouldn't be in that group in the first place. You never would. So it's got to be really hard to understand. Here's another question, though, and then I'll move on. I did see one wrestler that I can think of doing a helicopter with his penis. It was in a dressing room in an arena one time. It was a former world champion. And at the time, I thought it was gross. I didn't laugh. I thought it was gay. My question, was that sexual assault? And should that be reported? Honest question for discussion. I'm just saying, some things to think about. You know, I like to think about where you draw the lines. But back to my point with the plane ride, I learned a lot watching that show. I don't even think I knew there was like any kind of assault accusation, at least to that extent, a charge or whatever, until the producers told me. But I don't remember. I mean, how many times have I talked about the plane ride over the last 20 years? I'm surprised no one's bringing that up. I'm sure my story is consistent. People are limited. Some people are limited. So then when you start giving them the facts, instead of realizing that what I just said makes sense, then they want to automatically look at it and jump to, oh, he's backtracking. Like I said, some people are limited. If I don't know something, I want to know, usually, not always, sometimes I don't want to know, but if I'm going to talk about it, then I know that there's so much I could know, because there's always another story when you hear somebody's story. Always. There's always a reason that something happens. Everything is a reaction from another action. It's easy for people to not take accountability for anything if they don't believe that things happen for a reason. All right? So, here's a story I'm going to share with you. It's a personal story. I haven't thought about this in a long, long time. But I want to show you, using my life, how I've learned. One of the ways I've learned this, okay? When I was young, really young, 22 years old, in fact, I was Robbie V in WCW. High school was just back a few years ago. I was a baby. I mean, so inexperienced in the world. At that age, you're finding out who you are. I think I was, for sure. Usually, I don't want to say you, but, dude, we're still developing. We have so far to go. And at that age, you know, you're still repeating like what your parents told you, what people you looked up to, mentors, what they taught you, whatever, testing it, seeing how it is in life. Anyway, at this time, I was seeing this girl. We had a volatile relationship. On again, off again, on again, off again. I think some of you people are going to be able to relate to some of the details in my story here. That's what I'm hoping for. I was a horrible boyfriend, really. Too young to handle a relationship like this. I was totally only committed to myself. So I'd be like hooking up with other girls any chance I could get, left or right. We'd fight, split up, get back together. So much drama. I avoid drama now. I avoid drama. I avoid unnecessary energy disruptions, stress, and we'll cover that more later. But one of the times this girl and I are split up, she ends up getting engaged to a dude. and things are going good for her. And my ego couldn't handle that. My ego was saying, "This, you're getting screwed over. You got to do something. This guy, this guy leaves as the winner." I couldn't. I had to do something, right? So I ended up reconnecting with her, getting back together with her. She blows the whole thing off. I mean, they have to cancel their wedding. I guess her parents loved him and vice versa. You know, maybe they could have been happy for the rest of their lives. But I was young, stupid, had these primal priorities that told me I had to win. And I look back at it now like, what business did I have to waste this girl's life when I wasn't serious about her? Like, what an asshole thing to do. At the time, I didn't see it that way, you know? I was immature. I got back together with her. Back to being an asshole boyfriend. And it ate me up inside about what had happened, about this guy that's out there somewhere that can say he'd been with my girl. He must have known when I was on the road and been working on her because the engagement was so fast. He fucked me over. Man, fuck this guy. That's what I thought. That's how I felt. Even though we were back together, what did I know about the guy? Very, very, very little. A few things she had told me. I had a name. I knew what kind of car he drove. I knew what city he lived in. And I knew that he had brothers, and him and his brothers owned a gun store. What do you think I did with that? So my senses, or lack of, told me the smart thing to do was to get in the car and drive up there from Augusta to Aiken, South Carolina, I believe it was. Somewhere around. It was a couple hours. I don't know, but I found the gun shop. I'm gonna kill this guy. Not literally kill him, hopefully, but I had violence in my mind. And I'm thinking, I don't even know what this guy looks like, but he probably has a gun behind the counter. And when I find out it's him, am I quick enough to jump over that counter, attack him before he knows what's going on? Well, obviously I've been thinking about this for days or I wouldn't be here. So I look around the parking lot and try to find his car. I don't even know what a Miata is. I just know that my feelings are hurt because he had a Miata and it impressed her. So, girl, which one of these is a Miata? Does that say Miata? Had to read it because I don't know what the hell it is. I'm not a car person. I didn't see it. Pictured it in my head, of course, visualize it. Jumping over that counter. I can't land my feet first. That's going to take too long. I'm going to have to put my hand on the counter, leap over it, and in mid-leap, while my weight is suspended, I'm going to have to deliver like a roundhouse kick. Bam! And then when I land, follow up with keeping him from grabbing a gun under the counter. I go inside. Looking around. I don't see anybody. I don't even know what the fuck this guy looks like. stupid. I pretend I'm looking at these hunting jackets or some shit. Oh, what's that? A fishing pole? You know, whatever. I don't know. I see a guy come from nowhere. He walks back behind the counter, the glass display case, which is the counter. The border's off the register. I'm looking around to see if there's anybody else. Is this him? This guy looks like he'd be about the same age I would expect this guy to be. Or it could be a brother. I don't know. I don't know if there's anybody else in the back room or on the floor. I didn't see anybody in the parking lot. I really don't have a lot of facts. And I walk up there to the counter with these stupid thoughts in my head. And the guy says, "Can I help you?" And here it is. Here's the moment. And I'm visualizing I'm going to put my hand on the counter. I'm just going to leap over. Pop! I'm going to kick him so fast. He's not going to be able to get the gun that I know he has under the counter. Did I think about him having a gun on him? I don't remember that thought going through my head. If he was strapped. I don't remember thinking much, except for I have to go for it and not back out, and it's got to be all or nothing. Take a big breath. I'm going to need it for my jump. Is Bill working today? Just waiting for him to tell me that's him. Looking at this motherfucker. This motherfucker that I think caused me so much pain that I gotta pay him back. I'm getting ready. It's fucking tense. No, Bill's not working today. Tension's gone. Deflated. I walk back out to my car. I look around to see if anybody was watching me. Not sure why. Did the whole drive back. Don't even know if I told her that I'd done that. So, that's a story I wanted to share with you. Hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you agree with me. There was all kinds of flaws in how I handled that entire situation, which I would completely do different now. And I'm really hoping that you agree that by me rushing to take action without having much information at all made me one of the dumbest fucks on the planet. If you don't agree with that, well, that's scary. The ways of RVD might not be for you. Or maybe I'll catch you next time, because we're going to be doing more of those. Look, I even ripped off some, we'll get better. I'm not this grainy and white in person. We'll get the lighting. I ripped this off from the internet hoping it would stay with you and possibly mean a little something, because what do you really know? I mean, no. It's important to think about that, especially when you're opening your mouth, you know? I know one thing. If you like this video and you let me know, comment, like, subscribe, all that, then I'll be seeing you soon.